Justin Gaethje came out. Now, he was revealing his game plan for Oliveira. Oliveira had given the same thing a week ago. Oliveira said, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to stand with him. I even came and asked you guys the question, does Oliveira have a choice? Is Oliveira's wrestling good enough to change that, or is he going to have to stand and trade with him? But Gaethje now says he's going to do the same thing, but he got more specific. I really appreciated this. Justin Gaethje said he has to be moving forward. And he said in his entire career, he's only not gone forward one time, and it was against Khabib. He said it was a mistake, and I will never do it again. And he is right. Justin Gaethje fought Khabib very different. He looked timid. It doesn't mean he was. You can look timid without being timid. It turns out perhaps he wasn't afraid to get near Khabib. He was going to use lateral movement. He was going to go backwards. That's what it sounds like, right? He's doing anything but going forward. And that is true. He did not want to engage with Khabib. So I like the idea very much. I like that he learned from that. I like that he addressed it. I like that he admitted to it. And Justin did look different in that fight. It is glaringly obvious for me now that he has told me, but that's exactly what it was. Yeah, he wasn't going forward. It's exactly what that was. And you can't back up with Khabib. Khabib does not want to take you down more than anything. Khabib does not want to punch you in the face more than anything. Khabib does not want to strangle you more than anything. Khabib wants to put you into the fence more than anything. That is number one. Strategy number one. Priority number one with Khabib. So if you're not going forward, yeah, you're going to run into that fence. Very relevant. I'm only going back to it because Justin touched on it, right? And anytime that you have a mistake or you have a performance, not an outcome. Outcome, you got to let that go. If you have a performance that you didn't like, something has to change. Justin weighed in on this. Now, I would go a step further. I'm not going to get my way. But I want Justin to go forward. And if Oliveira comes forward too, now what do you have, guys? You have a wrestling match. It's one of the things that makes wrestling work. Without that component, wrestling doesn't work. Are you aware of that? Did you know in wrestling, you must either stand your ground or you must be going forward? If you back up, it's illegal. You do it again, they'll take a point away. They'll take another point away. They'll disqualify you. You must stand your ground or go forward. And I bring that too because Justin Gaethje should be throwing more people down. Right? The rules of the octagon have changed many times. The one constant from 1993 until today is take a guy down and beat him up. It is the only thing that hasn't gone out of fashion. It is the only thing that worked in 1993 and still works in 2022. There is no other technique. There is no other strategy that has not been manipulated and or modified except for that. And Gaethje has that skill. He never does it. He does it in the practice room. He practices on the ground. I would bet whatever the limit was, if it was just a straight line bet, can Oliveira submit Gaethje from his back? No, he's not going to submit him from his back. I get that he could do it. I don't want to hear the back and forth on that. But in all fairness, no, it's not very likely. And neither is any other opponent that Gaethje has ever faced. Gaethje doesn't like to go to that position as good as he is. As much of his life as he worked on being great at putting somebody there, in MMA he doesn't do it. I've never seen anybody quite as stubborn as Gaethje. And the only comparison I could even give you is Dan Henderson. Dan Henderson made 2 Olympic teams. He was the outstanding wrestler of the United States National Wrestling Tournament. When's the last time you saw Dan take somebody down? When's the last time he tried? When's the last time he needed to with that H part? Right? It was one of those things. But most guys, it comes back and bites them in the ass. Eventually, it bit Johnny Hendricks in the ass. Eventually, it bit just Josh Koscheck in the ass. Like, if you're a wrestler, you need to go out there and you need to wrestle. Been true for everybody except for Justin Gaethje. And I do like the idea that he's moving forward. And I also think that takes down the reach of Oliveira. That will also limit a lot of the attacks by Oliveira, because Oliveira is very diverse, specifically in comparison to Justin. Justin is not. He's going to kick your leg below the knee extremely hard, and he's going to go 1s and 2s. He's going to bury his chin, and he's never going to quit. It's extremely basic. Oliveira hits you with a spinning roundhouse kick and come this way with an elbow. He'll jump in the air and knee you. If you're going forward, you will take all of that away. I mean, it's a very important game plan, because I have never personally seen or been part of, even from a fan perspective or analyst, a fight that I am less certain about. And I'm well aware I get them wrong all the time, guys, but I'm still sure, even if I end up being wrong, I'm still sure in my position. I do not know who's going to win this match. I think you have a stand-up fight. I think you have a kickboxing fight. I don't think you should. I think you should have a dirty boxing, do some damage, take him down, and control him fight by Gaethje. I'm not going to get my way. If I found out I was, I got Justin alone and I could tell he was shooting straight with me and, hey, he's going to go take this guy down. He's going to put him in the fence. He's going to keep him there. He's going to grind some elbows. Oh my goodness. I would no longer be torn. For sure. At least in my mind. But I would be completely confident Justin Gaethje is going to leave there champion of the world. I am more confident now that I hear what he's saying, and I know he means it. I know he means it because he qualified it against his match with Khabib. And guys, there's something going on with Justin Gaethje. I hope one of the reporters, I hope John Morgan, I hope Brett Okamoto, Errol Hawani hears this and steals it and goes and asks Gaethje the question. But the Justin Gaethje timeline has a gap, and none of us know what happened in that gap. Justin Gaethje was red hot. Justin Gaethje was the champion. Justin Gaethje's celebrated. Justin Gaethje's in there with Khabib. Justin Gaethje disappeared. I want to know what he did. I want to know what that was like. Just personal. I'm just personally curious. When you have these great competitors, you'll always get lost in the X's and the O's of the technique. But it's always the intangibles that separated them from the pack. I'll give you a great example. Daniel Cormier, doing a show called UFC Tonight. Our boss over there was Steve Becker. Daniel Cormier loses to Jon Jones and doesn't show up for work. Tells Becker I need some time off. So Becker's calm going, Daniel, you're a huge star. This is a huge fight. If you're going to make a statement, you need to make it here where you work. You need to let us get the attention, us get the credit. Like Becker was saying everything right. Becker is correct. Daniel works there. Daniel needs to show up. Daniel said no. So I'm not coming in. I'm not coming in next week. I'm not coming in the next week. Becker said, why, Daniel? Get back on the horse. Daniel said, no, I'm hurting. Becker said, that's okay. Come tell the world that. Daniel said, no, you're not understanding. As soon as I come out to the world, as soon as I speak about this, it'll take the pain away. I want to hurt. I need this pain. I have to remember how Jon Jones made me feel. I have to dwell on this. I have to be depressed. I have to lock myself down. And Daniel, who's dealt with adversities and come back and done great, he knew himself. He knew himself. And he was right. It was a huge part of the Daniel story that never gets told until right now. I maintain that pain and that lockdown and that solitude that Daniel forced himself to do as a way of revigorating and getting the motivation is what led him to the world championship. Oh, and by the way, another world championship simultaneously at a different weight class. It's a very important moment in Daniel's career. Is that what Gaethje did? Because if you guys will remember after he got done with Khabib, and it was the single worst performance he had, Justin never got started. I went as far as to say timid. Can you imagine Justin Gaethje being timid? Well, yeah, that's what he looked like. He looked timid. He got outclassed greatly, got completely dominated. And they disappeared. I would assume, based on other fighters I've seen, that he was down in the dumps. That he was drinking himself to sleep at night. That he's doing a poor me and his mom's got to throw an arm around him. I'm not sold that that's what it was. And I don't know what it was. But I think I'm closer those 5, those 6, those 8 months where Gaethje disappeared. He was off of Instagram. He was off of social media. He was not popping into shows. He was gone. He was gone, absolutely silent for 5 months. Do you guys remember that? It was 8 months in that he finally pops into a show because they were doing it in Arizona, and the UFC's like, dude, this is your town. Come and get your pop from the crowd. He didn't say anything. He didn't do anything. He just showed up. Then he gets in there with Chandler. He's never looked so good. Never. The single greatest Justin Gaethje ever was Justin Gaethje's last performance with Chandler. Something had to change. How do you get better? How do you get better at something as you get older? How do you get better at something when the competition gets harder? When the stakes go up? When a number one contendership's on the line? When you're doing it in the Mecca? How do you get better? Got the same training partners. Yeah, you slip Usman in there somewhere along the way. He's got the same gym. He's got the same facility. Something is different. Justin is better now. Something happened. There was some kind of walkabout. In the 5-month gap when Justin Gaethje disappeared, I personally would like to hear all about it.